There's an underground menu of compounds people are using to completely hack their bodies right now. And most of them you can't just grab off a shelf. Some heal you like Wolverine. Some melt fat faster than anything in human history. Some are banned in every sport on Earth. And a few of them aren't even technically legal to sell for what people actually use them for. These are peptides mostly, plus a couple of their sketchier cousins. And at this point, half your gym is quietly running at least one of them. So here's every single one that matters, explained, one at a time, from the fat loss stuff to the healing stuff to the ones that just make you look better. Quick heads up, and I'll only say it once. Not every single thing on this list is strictly banned. A lot of it just sits in a legal gray zone. This whole video is educational only, and none of it is medical advice. And real quick, the reason this entire world exploded right now is pretty simple. Telehealth put half of it a click away. Ordinary people got comfortable with needles thanks to the whole Ozempic wave, and everyone is staring at their own face and body on a front-facing camera all day long. The demand was always there. The access just finally caught up. Cool? Let's run the list. First up, and it's the one that dragged this entire world into the mainstream, Semaglutide. You know it better as Ozempic. It was originally built as a diabetes drug, and then the whole world figured out its side effect was the actual main event. Because it quietly turns your appetite almost all the way down. That constant background hum of wanting to eat, the thing people call food noise, it just goes quiet. And it does this whether or not you're diabetic, which is the exact detail that flipped it from a quiet medical prescription into a full-blown cultural event. So eating less stops being this daily war of willpower, and instead it just sort of happens on its own. People started dropping weight they had been fighting with for a decade. Celebrities got suspiciously lean overnight. It became the most talked about drug on the planet. And honestly, it's the one that kicked the door open for everything else on this list. Everything after this is people going, okay, if that worked, what else is out there? Which brings us straight to number 2, Tirzepatide. Think of this one as semaglutide's bigger, stronger, older brother. Same core idea, crushing your appetite so the eating takes care of itself. Except Tirzepatide hits 2 different targets in your body at the same time instead of just one. And that second lever mattered, because the results came in noticeably better across the board. More weight gone, and for a lot of people, fewer of the rough side effects. For a good while, this was simply the strongest, most effective fat loss tool that existed anywhere. Doctors were stunned by the numbers. For a while, nothing could touch it. Keyword being, for a while. Because then number 3 showed up, and this one is the reigning king. Retatrutide. Everyone just calls it RETA. If semaglutide pulls one lever and Tirzepatide pulls 2, RETA pulls 3 at once. And the trial numbers it posted were almost cartoonish. People losing somewhere in the range of a quarter of their entire body weight. A quarter. Read that again. And here's the spicy part. The reason it fits right at home on a list like this. RETA isn't even fully approved yet. It is still, right now, finishing its clinical trials. That has not stopped a gray market from quietly selling unlabeled vials of the stuff to people who decided they were not going to sit around and wait for the paperwork. So you've got the single most powerful fat loss compound ever created, still being tested by actual scientists, and people are already injecting it in their kitchens based on a forum post. That's the whole culture in one bullet point. Okay, hard left turn, we're leaving fat loss. Number 4 is the one every injured lifter has desperately Googled at 2 in the morning. BPC 157. This is the healer. It started life as a fragment of a protein found in your stomach, which is also why a whole crowd swears by it for gut problems, not just injuries. But the reason it became a legend is the physical repair. And people run it for torn tendons, cranky joints, nagging shoulders, the kind of stubborn injuries that normally sideline you for months on end. And the stories about it are genuinely wild. People swearing that something they'd been babying for a year suddenly calmed down in a matter of weeks. It has built an absolute monster of a reputation as the single best recovery compound in the game, and it is the undisputed star of the famous Wolverine stack. If you train hard and you're always nursing something, this is the name that keeps coming up. And that leads perfectly into number 5, because it's the other half of that exact stack, TB 500. Where BPC 157 gets all the headlines, TB 500 is the quiet workhorse running right alongside it. It's tied to a protein your body uses for cell repair and cell migration, which, in plain terms, means helping the right building blocks get to the damaged area faster. People stack the two together specifically to chase that heal-like-the-movie character effect, one working on the local injury, the other working more system-wide. On its own, it's the less famous of the pair. Inside the Wolverine stack, it's a total staple, and you basically never hear about one without the other. Number 6. And here's a genuinely funny twist, because this one is not actually a peptide at all. MK-677. It gets filed under peptides absolutely everywhere, but chemically it's something else, an oral compound that mimics your hunger hormone and nudges your body into pumping out more of its own growth hormone. And people are obsessed with it for 3 reasons. 1. They sleep like the absolute dead, some of the deepest sleep of their lives. 2. Their appetite goes through the roof, which, if you're trying to eat big to grow, is exactly what you want. And 3. Their muscles start looking noticeably fuller and rounder within just a couple of weeks. It's basically growth hormone for lazy people, a capsule you swallow instead of a needle you have to pin. And that convenience is a huge part of why it's absolutely everywhere. For the people who actually do want the needle and want to do it properly, number 7 is the growth hormone stack: CJ, C1295, and ipamorelin. These two get injected together as a combo, and they're the more precise, more dialed-in route to that same growth hormone boost that MK-677 chases in pill form. The idea is that they nudge your body to release growth hormone in a more natural rhythm, and people report the same trio of wins: deeper sleep, faster recovery between sessions, and leaner, higher-quality muscle built up over time. This is the combo the more serious biohackers and enhanced lifters reach for when they've moved past the beginner stuff and they want the real thing, done the real way. Number 8 is another one wearing a peptide costume that doesn't actually fit, and it's the reason the word banned is sitting in the title of this video: RAD140. Also called testalone. This is not a peptide, it's a SARM, a completely different class of drug entirely. And it's the one people reach for when they want muscle and strength gains that get into near steroid territory, but in a more convenient package they can take by mouth. The strength jumps people report on it are no joke at all, and it tends to hit fast, which is a huge part of the appeal. The honest trade-off is that it can push your own natural testosterone down while you're on it, which is why people cycle it instead of running it forever. It's also flatly prohibited in every single drug-tested sport that exists, and regulators have openly said it should not be sold as a supplement. Powerful, extremely popular, and very much off the official menu, which is exactly why it ended up on this one. Now we move over to the looks side of the shelf. Number 9, GHK-Cu. This is the glow one, a copper peptide, and here's the thing that actually sets it apart from most of this list. It's got some real, legitimate science behind it, particularly for skin and collagen, where it's shown up in legit skincare products for years, not just in injectable vials. People run it for smoother, firmer skin, for thicker hair, and for that general wound-back-the-clock, lit-from-within kind of look. And out of everything we've covered, it tends to deliver some of the most consistent, reliable results. If your goal isn't the gym or the scale, but your actual face, this is the name you write down. It's the crossover favorite where the looks-maxing crowd and the anti-aging crowd shake hands. And number 10, last on the list, the one for your head: Semax. This is a nootropic peptide that came out of Russia where, and this is notable, it's actually an approved medicine, which already puts it a step ahead of most of the stuff we've talked about. People take it for clean, jitter-free focus, for real mental clarity, and for a calm, locked-in headspace. And its close cousin Selenk handles more of the anxiety side of things. Out of this entire menu, it's the gentlest, most low-key option, the one you'd actually reach for on a normal work morning instead of a third cup of coffee. No needles, no drama, just a sharper brain. So that's the full underground menu, top to bottom. The GLP-1 trio for fat, Semaglutide, then Tirzepatide, then the new king, RETA, BPC 157 and TB 500 to heal like Wolverine, MK 677 and the growth hormone stack for size and sleep, and RAD 140 if you're willing to break the rules to get there faster, GHK-Cu for the glow, and Semax for the mind. And here's the honest truth that ties every one of these together. Some of it is real, serious science that just sprinted way out ahead of the law. Some of it is gray market stuff people are grabbing off the internet before anyone official has fully signed off on it. So do your own homework and genuinely talk to an actual doctor before you go anywhere near any of it. But now, at least, you know exactly what's on the menu, and you know what your gym is quietly running. I'm Vellum. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.